fearing I'm going to ask you about. The penalty kill made a difference in this game. Winning goal, starting the third period with that major and only allowing one shot. Just your thoughts on how that.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we put a lot of time and effort into both special teams, and it can certainly make a difference, and the PK did for us tonight, so happy about that.
What made it?
The PK?
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of different things. I think our PK was probably hungrier than their power play. I didn't think we gave up a lot of quality opportunities to them, a lot of good looks. You know, PK is something that we talk about every single game, and you know, we practice it in practice as well. So I like to, or I hope that when we work on something a lot, it tends to click, but doesn't always work out that way, for sure.
Claire Dalton had a tremendous game, both offensively and defensively. What do you think of the game tonight?
Yeah, Claire Dalton is so valuable to our team. She can play in any position right now. She's playing on the fourth line, but has the ability to be on the power play, can play up and down in all 13 positions, and is a big time killer for us as well. So she generated a lot of momentum, and that goal she scored, we see her do that every single week in practice. And you know, she's had the ability. Last game she did the exact same thing but wasn't as successful, and we talked about just her continuing to do that and bring pucks to the net, and luckily she had the lane today.
Were you a little disappointed to see you were leading 3-1, you get 2 penalties called against you, with the elbowing, then you get Maury Murphy. Were you disappointed as a coach to see the lack of discipline?
Yeah, I think, you know, it's important that we stay disciplined. I haven't felt like that has been an issue for us this year. And when we talk about discipline, we rarely talk about special teams. We more talk about discipline in our structure. And tonight I thought that there were a couple of penalties that were not disciplined. And luckily our PK was able to combat that.
How do you assess the Catherine Dubois hit from your perspective on the bench?
Yeah, I haven't watched it too much yet. You know, there's 2 big players going at each other, and you know, Boston's a physical team, and our plan was to initiate the physicality, and that's what Dubois did. And you know, I think that Keller was probably reaching a little bit forward, which probably put her in more of a compromised position. So I hope she's okay.
Can you take us into your thought process with the power play and changing the personnel a little bit, or moving things around?
Yeah, I mean, we didn't like the perimeter play that was happening with our power play the past, I would say, 3 games. So we decided to make some changes and simplified what the game plan was going to be for that. And I thought that our power play really created a lot of momentum, and a tip here or a trickled puck there, and I think we probably could have been in a different situation. But first time those units are together, and I liked what I saw.
What was the mood in the locker room between the second and the third period? You know, there's a big penalty, big play at the end of the period. You know, you have to kill 5 minutes at the beginning of the third. What was said in the locker room?
Yeah, I went in there early because we wanted to just control the narrative a little bit of what the players were talking about. And obviously, you know, number 1, Dubois doesn't want to hurt anybody. And number 2, you know, she doesn't want to be out of the game, and she wants to contribute. And I thought she was having a great game. And so she, you know, she knew that too. And, you know, so we were just trying to control what was being talked about. And then when we went in for the second time, we focused on an adjustment we needed to make with our forecheck so that Boston couldn't get out as easily, and the PK, because we knew we were going to have a big one coming up. But you know, a big hit from a player like Dubois who works as hard as she does, I think that, you know, that's a penalty that the players were ready to kill. And you know, the 5 minute, I didn't think we gave up hardly anything at all.
It's always physical against Boston. It felt maybe even more physical tonight. Did you have the same feeling?
Yeah, I mean, I was just hoping that both teams got out of it without any injuries, to be honest. I think there's a lot of turmoil between the two teams. And I mean, it's great for the competition, but as a coach, you're a bit worried just because you want your players to be in the lineup. But I think, you know, they're our next opponent again. So on the West Coast swing. So it's something for us to just be aware of. And, you know, the first half of our game, I didn't necessarily love it. So we're going to have to make some adjustments there and meet them with their physicality.
What didn't you love about the first half?
Too many turnovers in the neutral zone. I think we had like maybe 8 or 9 in the first period, and we're just not going to win hockey games if we give people free access to our blue line. And you know, it's been something that we've been talking about quite a bit. And so for us to go out there and not be able to execute the game plan, but I think we turned it around. So I'm happy with that. I'm happy with the response for sure.
Was that part of the reason you swapped Mary-Philippe and Kristen?
No, not with the neutral zone. More just trying to create, trying to generate, trying to shift some things. I think, you know, I don't think I'm going to be a coach that waits and waits and waits for things to happen. I have a little bit of patience for the power play because I know how much time and effort they put in, and I know a lot of you come to practice, so you see how much time and effort they put in and day out, so you have to have a little bit of patience there for sure. But in terms of trying to get an offensive spark in a period, I think it's okay to shuffle some things up, and luckily, you know, KO and Stace have a lot of chemistry together, and, you know, Pooh plays with a lot of different people, so, you know, Bobo's pretty fast and Lena has a great shot, so I just thought, let's try it.
You said it in French at the beginning, what a way to end the year. First in the rankings, you know, as we head to 2025. 20% of the season already is past two. Are you happy with that first part of the season?
I am really happy with it. You know, not fully satisfied, but really happy. You know, I think anytime in this league when you think you can take your foot off the pedal for a second, you can't. And so that's what we talk about as coaches all the time. Like, regardless of what the score is, regardless of where we are in the standings, our process remains the same, and that's what's crucial for our team and for our players to understand as well. Like, you know, I talked to all the players yesterday on our day off, and I just said, you know, I wouldn't be doing my job if I wasn't diving deep into little aspects of everybody's individual game. You know, even though we've won a couple games in a row, I still have to dive into things and approach it almost like, hey, what is there that we need to improve upon? So I'm happy with where we're at, but kind of never satisfied.
Merci.
Merci beaucoup.
Merci.
Ça a été vraiment une leçon de désavantage numérique. Je veux dire, je pense qu'en le 5 minutes, j'ai dû recevoir environ 2 lancers. On a réussi à appliquer beaucoup de pression dans leur zone. Ils n'ont pas réussi à sortir avec le contrôle. Donc, on a vraiment bien fait ça. Et puis, je pense que ça nous a donné beaucoup de momentum pour le reste de la période.
Claire, what did you like of your game today?
I think in general, like, we just executed kind of our game plan, and I think, like, Corey had a talk with all of us yesterday individually, and I think for me, I executed like what she wanted me to do, and I think we had a plan and we did just that.
Can you take us through sort of what you saw in your goal, and also maybe touch on your play to O'Neill there?
Oh, the play to O'Neill was just a lucky bounce, but yeah, I mean, I just saw space wide, and Corey and I have talked about taking the puck to the net, and this time it worked out.
Question for both of you. What was the mood in the locker room between the second and the third period? Because there was the big Dubois hit. You don't know how it's going to end up. You have third period, you have a big 5-minute PK. What was the mood in the locker room?
Knowing the person, she has one of the biggest hearts. She's one of the kindest human I've ever met. So you just want to be there for her, support her, and obviously get that kill. So we did exactly that. She's one of the best teammates. I'll always put the team first. So we owed her one, and that's what we did out there.
Est-ce que, Anne-Denis, est-ce que vous avez eu l'occasion de lui parler après le match, entre entre les deux périodes?
Il n'y a pas grand-chose à dire. Autant, il a tout donné une petite tape dans le dos, dire qu'on était là pour elle, qu'on la supporte et puis qu'on allait justement faire ça pour elle. Et puis je pense qu'elle était vraiment contente justement qu'on ait réussi à gagner, puis ça l'a soulagé aussi d'un peu.
Claire, when you have the opportunity to play on the penalty kill like you did today, a big 5 minutes, there's lots of ice time for you. What's your mindset when you have that chance? Not having that much ice time 5-on-5, but stepping up when you have that chance.
Yeah, I mean, everyone has a role, and today I was able to step into that one. I think blocking shots and creating offense. Honestly, it's an opportunity to free somebody from the box, and I think when we can, we look for that, and that's something that I try to play my PK with.
When you see someone like Marie-Philippe who steps in front of every shot, goes into the corners probably harder than anybody, what does that do down the bench? Obviously you played with last year as well, but when you see your best player, your captain doing that, does it kind of empower everybody else to want to do that as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I think she's a role model in every sense of the word. She does all those things in practice too. So I think for all of us, we see it every day, and everyone else feeds off that, and then you watch everyone do it. It's a spin cycle. It's awesome.
That's a pretty cool two-pad stack saved by her.
Yes, it was. Take some notes.
Yeah, I took notes.
Est-ce que c'est un des matchs les plus robustes que vous avez vus dans la Ligue depuis le début?
Oui, depuis le début de saison, c'est de loin le match le plus robuste. On s'en attendait, on sait que Boston, c'est leur style de jeu, ils aiment ça compléter les mises en échec. Et puis je pense qu'on a fait la même chose. Et puis les filles, ils ont adoré. On a vu plus que le match avançait, plus ça venait physique des deux côtés. Et puis c'est ce qu'on aime de notre ligue. Donc je pense que justement, c'est un bel aspect. Puis on sait qu'à chaque fois qu'on va jouer contre eux, surtout avec l'année passée, on voulait s'assurer qu'on s'en souvenait.